Hi, YouTube. Well, I just had problems getting on here, even though I have Windows and I had Facebook open and YouTube open. I usually just open them up and leave them on in case somebody's getting a hold of me, or if I get up, I just turn something off and then go back into my history and start it back up. So I had those open but I wasn't, well, I guess I would have been online on Facebook, but anyway, pulling up my camera, everything jammed up and turned black, and it just took me a struggle to get on here. So if you were um if you're waiting for me to say hello today, it took me a while to get on here. We might have a little bit of noise. We have the house closed up with the air conditioner on, and I have my fan going. So if that starts back up, or Doug microwaves his coffee or whatever, we might hear a little bit of noise. But anyway, drinking my water today. Cheers, everybody. Happy 4th of July to you that are in the United States. Well, happy 4th of July, no matter where you live. So, cheers. I was thinking about our government and the CIA's documented patenting. Uh, Boy, I didn't say that right. Enough, you know what I mean. Their patents on trauma-based mind control, and how no matter what's going on, there's always going to be some kind of traumatic something, not just like, oh, like in the cities, if you live in a city, you know there's going to be um, sirens and police cars, fire alarms in the middle of the night, or, fire trucks and all that. I mean, that's to be expected. I guess no matter where you live, because I had my house burned down too, so, and I lived way out in the country. That's why it burnt down. They thought they had it put out. I had a pretty nice lake home. And, a mouse chewed a wife, so they thought. A mouse. I found out later in the law. Um, Found out later that it was attempted murder, and perhaps in hopes of getting some kind of monetary kickback by somebody that wanted to do away with me and their own child. And that's something. True story. My white German Shepherd, TC, saved our life. He started barking when he saw the smoke, and I was able to get my baby out of the house before he died from smoke inhalation. So, yeah, for years I would wake up at that same time in the middle of the night, just instinct, not even fearful, but just like, okay, no fire, not today. So that's what I'm thinking about is, even if it's always something, I mean, what are you going to do if you're in the middle of chaos, if you're going to lose yourself to it, like have an emotional breakdown and start crying, not being able to recover? You're not going to be able to help yourself. And a lot of people in the world are feeling hopeless with the condition of the world. But I don't see that it has really changed all that much. Um, Not from what I can tell. Oh, for Glenn Carlson, I'm glad to see you're still around, my friend. Wow, it's been a while. Are you still over on Robin's Hood, or whatever you want to call that place? I stopped watching him. Not only wouldn't he wouldn't listen to the actual scriptures I was trying to um, express to him because his lack of knowledge with language. But he just thought it was beautiful to keep calling like Mary a whore or whatever, his chauvinistic, monist bullshit. So, but that wasn't what really got me. Is I told him how to fix something electronically on his truck, and instead of saying thank you, I get sick of it. I go and help people, and then they just ignore me, but yet they call me friend. I mean, I've been on his live, and he's like, showed my videos because of my strength and different things. Yeah, but why? Huh? If somebody can say that, gee, we learn from you, but not actually treat you like a friend, it's like, get out of here. So I'm glad to see you're still here. I couldn't listen to one more Monday, him getting in his vehicle and complaining about going to work when there's single moms out there that were listening to him, and um, other people that have worked. Like I started working at the age of 9, and still keep busy every day. Not like I used to, don't get me wrong, but you know, sometimes more than one job at a time, full time. So one full time one, and then working on the weekends and running a business out of my home and doing drywall, manual labor, and to listen to some little boy complaining about going to a carpentry work. I'm a licensed contractor. Gee, how did I do that if I didn't know how to do carpentry? I'm not a subcontractor like him. I have a license and a DUNS number. You know, I'm licensed in my state. So yeah, I got sick of listening to him. It's like, but that wasn't the last thing. Not only with him going in that art museum and playing the same old songs over and over and trying to correlate everything in his life with a message from God, like he's the Messiah, or whatever. But because we all have gifts from God, if we documented them, we could say, wow, see, you know, but he wouldn't listen. But what really got me is he asked for money. He was thinking about moving. He asked his community for money. They gave him money. And this one girl in particular, and I know she unsubbed from him, gave him a sizable amount, a single woman. And he ended up giving his money to his mom. I mean, yeah, okay, if you're gonna do a money drive for your mom, fine, but don't say it's for you and then give it to your mom, you know, whatever. But do you see what I mean? It just, not that it was deceptive, but it just wasn't a very nice thing to do, you know, in my mind. He he had got out there taking he should have gave their money back if he wasn't going to use it for what he said he was going to use it for. That's the way I look at it anyway. So, and some of us don't have moms that we could have fallen back on, and all these little whiny baby things he'd always do. It's like, no, I can't handle anymore. Even if somebody says they're my friend, it was getting too painful. Like I say, those Mondays, they're terrible. I think it was worse for us listening to it than it was him actually going to work. So imagine being at work and listening to that. Talk about a bummer. So I didn't like my knowledge being overlooked, and even taking the time to, I'd type out paragraphs of things that he could learn. I mean, like I tell people, you could know the depth of what's in the scriptures by using a Merriam-Webster dictionary, a 1923 or older. I have a 1921 up there, and the Strong's Concordance in the King James has a code in it from where those words derive from, if there's like an adjective, or um, if they're concentrating on the noun, and what definition. It'll say first, second, or third, and it's usually the second, at least, if not the third definition of that word that's used in that code. Sometimes you even have to go deeper into another country's second and third definitions of those words to get. It's all coded. You can tell once you learn the code, you can you can see how to look up that exact. Whoa! Oh no! It's a wasp. Okay, dive bomber. Yeah, I'm brave, but not that brave. You know. And wasps, they'll fight with you. Jeez. Okay. Now I'm full of fear. You know, I hope it isn't too noisy in here. I'm just kind of talking to people about our country today and the way it always has been. Even what today is about is really sad for the Native Americans, because um, it just really is. I don't know. I people don't trust them enough to put faith in them as a people to run their own country like they always have. They have councils, and they have their own police force, and they have banks and lawyers, and I mean, super intelligent people. Just not what people think. There's some highly educated natives that could govern their own country with more grace than what we see. And it wouldn't be a deceiving, manipulating, trauma based thing at all. So that's always on my mind on this day, you know. So, yeah. So, yeah, I do feel it. And they're gracious about it. I mean, I belong to a few of their groups on Facebook, like Native Beauties and um, Indigenous Woman, I think the one is called, and Lakota Facebook or something like that. A few of them anyway. Maybe another one after that too. But today, I mean, they're wishing everybody happy 4th of July. Totally gracious about the whole thing. I can't say that I would be in their place, but, you know, and I'm sure some of them aren't. I mean, if you've ever been on a reservation, some of the native people will welcome you if you're white or whatever color, and some won't, you know. Might have to do with what their personal family had been through. Like, say, if they're a product, like like biracial, and their grandmother was indigenous and she had been raped, and they are that product, then you can have a little bit of um, I had a friend named Jerome that was raised by a German man. His mother was Ojibwe, Chippewa. Um, just because he was close to his stepdad. his brothers and sisters and cousins all treated him dirty just for being a loving human being towards his own stepfather. So, I mean, that's how deep this animosity can go with some of these natives. I mean, they're not happy. You wouldn't be either if it was your blood. But yeah, that's going too far, you know. I didn't know his stepfather. I did know his mom and his brothers and sisters. And yeah, I worked with one of his brothers, was a dealer at the same casino that was built on their land, on the Indian land. So yeah, super nice person. Not all of his family hated him. That was one that didn't. You know, I'm still looking for that dive bomber just in case. I wonder if the camera caught it. You know, uh, it might have been in here from yesterday. Doug killed one this morning. It was a black one, but I saw this. Might have saw this one yesterday flying around. It was flying past me, and I kind of ducked and I turned my fan on so it wouldn't bug me. I have my fan on right now and it just flew past me. Hopefully, I thought it would deter him because he was in here before I started making a video. So I turned the fan on just in case. So anyway, but yeah, back to that trauma-based stuff. It's if you look back in the history of the United States, it's always been something to get people upset. You know, what makes us such a great nation? First off, we're a corporation and we should be getting what they call Nasara Gasara. That actually, um, Gasara, I believe is what it is referenced in the Bible as gold, or there's a term as like going for the gold. Um, the dividends that the people should be getting back is put back into the corporation. But yet and I shared a post in my community on YouTube here, um, that the Israelites live for free. They don't have to work. They get an education and they get free health care all on the American taxpayers. And you're lucky if you got today off from work to celebrate your independence? Question mark. You know, yeah. So that's what's on my mind. You know, there's times that I had to get a job. I, in fact, worked for my government for one time for about a half a year when I was 15 and, as a student teacher, and then another time for about 6 years in the kitchen as a janitor and as a paraprofessional working with emotionally disturbed children in the school, in a sheriff's boys ranch school that was affiliated with our school system in my state. So yeah, there's times I had to take on a regular job, but I always tried to not do that. If I could possibly not do that, I would. Like I did some wallpapering. Um, I'm into some home interior. Um, I used to love it. I used to love remodeling houses more than I did building something new. You know, taking something that was and making it look beautiful. You know, yeah. I'll talk a little more with you here. So anyway, um, I don't know what we can actually do about our country and the deception that's going on. I mean, um, Doug had shared a post about Hillary or Chelsea Clinton and the $20 million she took from oh geez, I'm gonna try and pull it up here. Yeah, I will. Give me a moment. I'll talk while I'm pulling it up. Oh, maybe not. This is nah. I'm not gonna. Everything was so sticky. I'll just tell you about it. It's over on my Facebook if you want to see it. It's about how the Clinton Foundation had taken money from the American people and she had put it in an offshore account and she was charged by the Supreme Court to she got fined. Oh, she got a fine for treason, you know, and embezzlement. That's all. You or I'd be in jail. But I've been hearing the same story about her and her mom and dad for like at least the past year. Many of you probably have too. And when these people say things like that, and what I mean by these people is people like Doug, you know, that are really involved and have faith, some sort of faith in our justice system. Wow. Um, we've never seen any proof. We've never seen the mug shots, the handcuffs, the fingerprints, um, you know, court documents that should be open to the public. Court documents are open to the public unless a child is involved, you know? So, and there's absolutely no proof of any of this. It's just hearsay, you know? When I see the proof, I'll believe it. So, yeah. What are you doing today? Are you barbecuing or grilling? Anything special? I'm not. No, we're going to have macaroni and cheese. So that's it. I'll probably have some sunflower seeds. I like ranch ones in the shell. I'll have some of them for protein. Well, the cheese is protein too, but yeah, not not really that good. I had chicken last night. Then I had two of these little croissants that had cheese in them. No, three. I warmed two of them up. I had one cold. They weren't very good cold, but yeah. Doug put extra butter on his and said they were good. I believe it. I don't think it needed the extra, but he does. Like if I make oh something that has butter in it anyway, he'll put extra on it. Or like if I make like banana bread or orange bread, I have to take out a lot of butter. But they didn't have a lot when they were growing up. We didn't either because, it's not that we couldn't afford it, it's that my parents were super frugal from being raised in Depression times, so whether they had money or not, it didn't matter. We were raised working and being frugal and thrifty our entire lives. Even, you know, um, in millionaire families that I was around, grand pianos, businesses, everything. They still would like go to yard sales and you know I don't know. It gave them more of, like if you could buy something secondhand that you could, I mean, they bought some new things like later in the years they bought like new vehicles and that type of thing. But a lot of times things were like secondhand, living in a pretty nice house and having your adopted children working like little slaves. We did. We delivered flyers and magazines and the catalogs were and phone books. Those were the hard ones. And we do that. And we had paper routes and we'd rake leaves for people and shovel snow. And we made pretty good money, as little people. Had our own spending money, but whatever that means when we bought like school clothes or we were encouraged not to buy like a lot of garbage with our money. So back to listening to some little twerp fucking bitch about going to work. It's like, are you kidding me? I used to stay up till sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning and have to get up at 6:30 because I didn't have my housework done yet after work, you know, and then go work on the weekends to listen to something like that. And that's after having kids out of my body. And one didn't come out, it ripped out, So if you can think of the damage and the repair, I mean, it is remarkable, but I'm still rather sore, you know? But I mean, men take it for granted, like, oh, a woman just had a child. And then what? You want to treat her like a man? you know? That's why I shared a post where when a woman is expected to, like, split the bills 50-50, take care of the kids, clean the house, go out and work, and then come home and idolize this piece of dung heap um, as some kind of demigod, you know. After a while, you start thinking to yourself that I'm doing this by myself. And then with mine, the money wasn't coming back into the house. I had bought my own house and nothing was coming back in. But when he brutalized my child, that was it. Um, it's all I could do not to take this thing off the planet. I still occasionally feel like that. Um, Not like I did. But, yeah, I did end up using my martial artist skills that I never would have done. I mean, it took a lot to even make me retaliate with my mouth, let alone physically. But I had had enough. And that was it. I figured I'm doing it by myself anyway. I don't need this. I even asked it to move in its own room, and we put the kids in their own room. And as long as he didn't bring his filthy life into my home, he could have been around the kids. But he chose to abandon his children for 5 years, almost 5.5 years, and then try and paint me like I was some kind of unstable that he just left. No, I broke his leg and threw him out the door and threw my car keys out after him. That's how serious I was. And then I put knives in the door, ooh, um, in the door jamb and the windows, so he couldn't get back in and get me because if he could have, he would have killed me. Get out of here, thing. Do you see it? help. I'm not scared of a lot of things, but I don't like getting stung. Wow. Because they don't lose their stingers like bees do. Bees stinger will come off, and a wasp they can sting you repeatedly. So can yellow jackets, some big ones, not the bumblebees, but yellow jackets. I got stung when I was about 3 or 4. I was hiking with my adopted parents and brother, and I stepped on a nest, I think, and it flew up my back and stung me all the way up my back. Well, you know what? I'm gonna get this uploaded and try and take this thing off the planet because I've had enough of it. I don't mind if they leave me alone, but when it starts dive bombing me, that's about enough. So, okay, everybody, have a really wonderful weekend. I might be back tomorrow. Not sure yet. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.